Hello everybody and welcome back to the BelievingBruce channel. The channel where we help you understand what's going on inside your head so you can think, feel and act a little bit better. Anything to do with performance psychology, mental health, well-being, anything to do with the head and heart. If you're interested in that, this is the channel for you. Subscribe below, or go on and do it, I'm not messing about. Give us a thumbs up but leave your comments below. I love to just get some feedback on what you're thinking of the BelievingBruce channel, what you think of my information, my predictions, my assumptions, everything. As BT said, it's good to talk. So this morning I woke up to a whole load of messages about Jake Paul. I posted a video yesterday and the messages were around about, Bruce, how did you know? Are you a mole in Jake Paul's camp? Have you got some insider information? What you said on your video, BelievingBruce, and then just a few hours later, Jake Paul says exactly how you explained him. No, I'm not a mole in Jake Paul's camp. I haven't got some inside information, but I am BelievingBruce. Remember, I've got 20 plus years of psychological analysis experience of me sitting down, as well as the academic qualifications, but analysing people. Sitting down, looking at them and shutting up. That's experience that can't be bought. With my role, with my job, with my academic qualifications, with the experiential learning, tens of thousands of hours of analysing people and teams. That simply empowers me two things. One, to be more observant than the average Joe on the street, but also two, to put these pieces together quicker than the average Joe on the street. No more than that, but it's just because I know what I'm looking for. Which allows me to help so many people in relation to my job. And also on the BelievingBruce channel, that's what I'm trying to do. Share some of the love, share some of the knowledge, so that you can become better at that too. Understanding what's going on inside your head, so you can think, feel and act a little bit better by giving yourself other options, by understanding your thoughts and feelings, helping your own mental health. So I'm going to show you this little clip here of Jake speaking to Gib. And then I'm going to show you my video, just a snapshot of what I put on yesterday.
I control everything here. I control the mental, the physical, the ring, everything.
We'll see. So that was Jake. Now listen to my little snapshot. What I noticed about Jake Paul is that he is what's known as a high control individual. Jake loves to have control of everything that he is associated with. Projects that he's involved in, relationships that he's got, even sporting events like this. It's really important for him to have, or at least to feel like he's got, control of the situation. So imagine in Jake's universe, he is the sun and everything rotates around him. He's the one with the gravity, he's the one with the energy, admittedly inside Jake Paul's head.
I control everything here. I control the mental, the physical, the ring, everything.
We'll see. Again, biology does not lie. When you've got the data there, when you've got the information, if you know what you're looking for, you put it together and that gives you the answer. But only if the data is available to allow you to make a sensible, a reasonable and accurate prediction. We have that information there with Jake. Now before I go into this video, because there is some stuff that Jake said that is actually truthful, and I'm going to show you examples of that. To be transparent and authentic, which is always important, is that who do I want to win the fight? It would be unfair for me to tell you or give you a clue who I am rooting for. Yes, I've actually made no secret that I do want Gib to win. And it's okay because I can still be fair and balanced because I actually like Gib. I've watched his videos, he makes me laugh, I love the energy. Where Jake Paul, I don't get that, he's more of an irritant. And that's okay for me to admit that. That's okay for me to be truthful. There's people in life who you would go for a pint with. There's people in life who you would rather cross over the street than have to talk to them. I'm no different, I am but a human. So I'm naturally aligned to wanting Gib to win, just because I gel and connect more with his character than I do with Jake Paul. But there is some truth in what Jake Paul is saying, so I'm going to show you this clip here, and it's a roundabout how Jake Paul is pulling the string. So just like from a previous video yesterday, it's a roundabout how Jake Paul is getting Gib to dance to his tune. This could be one of the reasons if he takes this into the fight, if he takes this into the fight, that could result in Gib losing the fight. So here you see Jake is just about to offer what's going on in the interaction between himself and Gib.
You wanna know what's crazy about this interaction?
So he's praying with us for what his belief patterns are, which he's going to offer now.
Is you're playing into everything that I'm saying and doing.
You're playing into everything that I'm saying and doing. Now again, from being fair and transparent and balanced, even though I want Gib to win, there is some truth in what Jake is saying here. He is pulling the strings. He is the master of the puppet show, if you will. And it's been like this from the first press conference. And I'm just going to show you a quick example here of one of the ways where Jake is controlling Gib, or Gib is allowing himself to be brought into Jake's games. So from the very first press conference, there was an example where Jake offered that Gib looked nervous. And he said it specifically about your body posture. And you'll see here, so it's Jake dictating the situation, and then Gib is reacting to it. Have a look at this video here.
You look scared right now. Like your posture, everything.
Well, you will see a lot.
So again, very subtle but an observable example of how Jake does something and then Gib follows suit. It's almost like Jake has got the leader on Gib here. But there's another example here where it is the face-off. Again, this is in the first initial press conference. And where they come together and they're having a bit of banter. And then what Jake does is Jake pretends to pinch Gib's nose. Which again, it's him pulling the strings. It's him creating the situation. It's him dominating that particular space. And then Gib reacts to him with that now famous push. But from a dominance perspective, from a controlling perspective, from who's pulling the strings, just two subtle examples what actually Jake's saying is that he is controlling it. He is making Gib do what he wants to do. And then he offers this little clip.
Just like the fight's gonna go.
Okay.
So in Jake's head, he's either verbalising the story that he believes in, or he's verbalising it for the impact of either trying to make himself comfortable or to try to unnerve Gib. But he believes that this is how the fight's going to go. And he's got the evidence actually to back that up. As we sit here now, with the fight not having happened yet, that there is evidence, and I've just showed two clips there, of how Jake is dictating the cerebral landscape, the psychological warfare landscape, if you will, and Gib is reacting to this. So there is some truth in what Jake says, and it's got to be acknowledged. Hands up, I would love Gib to win. But there is some truth in what Jake is saying. And that could be a really interesting point, because we have examples in nearly every boxing fight or MMA fight that I watch, where the verbal battle, if you will, the control for dominance or the destruction of the other opponent's masculinity, which results in a destruction of their self-belief or their pride, and develops some type of an output of a reactive and unhelpful performance, often a negated physical performance due to controlling this cerebral landscape. And often it's the data, it's what we call external stimuli. It's the external stimuli that comes in that impacts on your brain that you'll turn into reality. You start processing that in certain ways. You start developing hormone regulations in certain way, which results in a negated performance. So if that pattern does continue into the fight, Gib might have problems. But, this is where my emotion starts going back up now. This is where I start feeling happier, because we've acknowledged the truth, brothers and sisters, is that Jake Paul has said some truthful facts. However, one also fact that we must take into consideration is that just because you're winning the verbal battle does not necessarily mean you win the fight. And what do I mean by that? Well, they're not going to get into the ring and throw diss tracks at each other. Yo, your mama's so fat. That's not going to happen. What is going to happen is they're going to get into the ring and fight. And this is where the advantage, I believe, starts swinging in Gib's favour. Just because Gib, and he said it himself, and good on the lad. Yeah, there is a beautiful sanctuary, there's beautiful safety in admitting how you feel. And Gib has admitted on a number of occasions that, yes, it's his first press conference. I was a bit nervous. I don't know how to react. There's some beauty in being authentic and being transparent and just saying, this is me. And just because Jake Paul is pulling the strings verbally, he may be a bit more quicker, a bit more wittier in person on this type of stage, does not mean that this will necessarily translate into him dominating the fight. Not 1% does it guarantee anything. But also seeing here is an opportunity where maybe he's actually in the ring, and this is what I'm hearing. This is what the external data has been offered to us on numerous platforms, on numerous videos, by numerous people. You must listen to the data. Is that Gib is more at home in the ring. He's here to fight. Gib just wants to fight. And again, there's very limited data to go off, but I do believe in the fight, it could be Gib dictating what Jake Paul does. Gib has got that one gear, and that's come forward, and I'm going to pressure you, and I'm going to bring the heat. I love this phrase. I'm going to bring the smoke. That's a new one that I've been hearing, which I think, I'm well behind that. But I think it's really important to acknowledge that I do believe Gib, and the evidence is there to suggest that, is more at home in the ring than on stage, than in a press conference. And remember, if you gain the upper hand in a press conference, it's only really helpful if that upper hand then impacts on the way your opponent thinks, feels and acts, which results in a negated performance on fight night. That's only where it really matters. If you've said something, if it's troubled them, if they've ruminated on it, if they've felt differently, their hormone regulation, their energy levels, their self-belief has gone down, then it's been impactful. There is loads of evidence out there to prove that just because somebody seems to be winning a verbal battle, it doesn't translate into they're going to win the fight. And this is where I'm optimistic for Gib. I've been in and around fighting since I was 10 years old. I know numerous people who aren't very good at the verbalisation. I know numerous people who I've talked over, who I've managed to wind up all right, even just at the local club. But then get me in the ring and they've absolutely kicked my ass because they're just better at fighting than they are at verbalisation. So it's horses for courses. And again, one of the best examples that we've got here is a certain notorious Conor McGregor versus the Eagle Khabib. And remember in the press conference, Conor totally dominated him. Active disruption, he was talking over him, he was insulting his people, his father, offering him alcohol. He dominated that verbal space is what I'm offering here.
Come here for smash this guy. I don't
Smash
wanna
me,
talk.
mate.
I
Smash me.
don't wanna, I
yeah,
don't wanna
smash
talk.
me.
I can
You
smash
say send location. Here it is, right here in front of you. I'm right in front of you.
But then we all know what happened in the fight.
Nope, it's on the chin.
There's the tap. Still undisputed. Copy.
And whether he did or did not train properly, I'm not bothered. The fact is he lost. And this is what I believe will happen in this space, in the fight. Is that Ali could come forward, he could dominate that space, he could dictate by his frenetic and unorthodox style plus engine and energy that Jake Paul has to react to him, so the roles are switched. Again, I just thought it was important to acknowledge that there is some truth in what Jake Paul's saying, that he is dominating that space, that he is pulling the strings at present. But, I don't believe that that will make that much impact on Gib, because Gib is a fighter, maybe he's not a verbaliser in a press conference situation. Maybe he's not a great orator on that type of emotional platform. So just because someone may psychologically be dominating the other one, might be verbally better, might be a better orator if you will, and bigger and stronger and faster, if that pattern goes on and Gib does allow Jake to dictate the fight, then maybe Jake could win. But I just believe Ali might be a different beast. Might be better, might be stronger, might be faster, might be more of a fighter than anyone is giving him credit for. I can't wait to see the way, and I'll be doing some more body language video predictions here, and also a prediction for the fight. So remember, subscribe, hit the notifications, let me know below what you think, what are you noticing that I'm not, but more importantly, believe in Bruce. Be kind to yourself and each other.